Alright, it's Sunday. I want to make a quick video of my 1965 Galaxie Police Interceptor frame. My father bought this in 1965 in May. I drove this a little bit in high school, parked it later on, kind of tore it apart, and it's been sitting for 25 years in storage. I tore it all apart a couple, 3 years ago, and everything was stripped down to every nut and bolt. Sandblasted the frame, painted it all as a base coat, clear coat, semi-gloss finish, Chromax. The frame was stripped. I had a local welder gouge out all the existing welds and weld them. This is something NASCAR did back in the day. Also, they added this plate over the top of the hump on the back frame rail. It usually develops cracked, and this one had a little bitty crack on the back side with the 3-link suspension, was just vulnerable to cracking right there. Like I said, everything was tore apart. I put a adjustable suspension system on. Works just like the factory, except you can adjust the in and out tilt of the pinion. Basically give it a 4-wheel alignment. It's got a sway bar on the back, which this car never had. Put new springs on from Eaton's. These are 427 springs, or station wagon. They're just extra load. They're built a little bit different on the coil. Rear end is a 355 Posilock. Had it all gone through. 9-inch. New brakes, new stainless steel brake lines. New brake hose. Those are kind of hard to come by. Auto Crafters makes that distribution line. They're the only ones I found that make it, unless you go with a specialty company, which I'm sure you can do. Stainless steel fuel line. Motor or frame mounts are all redone. Those are kind of hard. You get a packaged generic kit and you have to make everything work. These are the original metal pieces. This one's a metal piece. This one bumps in, bolt down style. Just a flat resting plate. The one up here was a little more difficult to make. You can't buy exact pieces for this. So what I did was put the bottom one on as a generic. It's got a 1/2-inch air hose as a filler piece. And actually that piece right there is a rubber cork from a hardware store like Ace Hardware. I drilled it out for the appropriate size. Matches the original mount exactly. I was kind of surprised. So that was the thing that was probably the hardest to figure out. After you get to thinking about it, it all worked out. It's got all new bushings in the A-arms, suspension, rubber bushings on the lateral supports, new brakes, brake cylinders, motor mounts, shocks. Got these parking brake cable assemblies from Inland Tube. They match the originals, fit very well, go into the housing of the rear drums very well. Drive line, that's all original drive line. I just painted it with detailed gray from Eastwood. Used Dana Spicer U-joints that are greasable. Transmission, put all new seals in it. That's original factory 4-speed, close ratio. New transmission mount. Had the motor redone. Steering box, went through it, cleaned it all out, new seals, and put new lubricant inside. Motor was built by Gessford's in Hastings, Nebraska. It's the original motor. Put Elderbrock aluminum heads on it. Put a QuickTime bell housing, rated bell housing, so you can go to the drag strip if you want. Explosion proof, basically. A Meladon starter. Those are original 427 cast iron headers. They got Cerakote put on them. I did that, just blasted them off, Cerakoted them. There's a weld that my father did back in the day. It had a little crack there, took it to a welding shop where they put it in the oven, got it white hot, welded it, and then did a slow cool on it overnight. Those are ARP fasteners. The motor, those are reproduction pent roof valve covers. I still have the original. They have vents on each side, in fairly good shape. I'll probably get them re-chromed or cleaned up and might put them on later. Elderbrock water pump, MSD electronic ignition. It's a 3-2 barrel setup that Dad got back in the day in '65 off a '63 406 that was wrecked. Carburetors, all new kits, everything's gone through. The only thing I don't like is my engine builder decided to paint this. I know the CAD plating was pretty wore off. I might get a reproduction CAD plated one there so it looks more original. Same with the throttle linkage for the multi-carb. And I don't really like these, but I'll probably change them to more factory thumb style, make it a little better. Something else, I'll probably have some stainless build up to match this. Fuel line from the fuel pump. It's original pulleys that are chrome back in the day. I just put them on to get everything working. They probably need to be taken off, cleaned up, re-chromed. This has been stroked out to 4.25 stroke, so it makes it a 445 or 447 with the bore. 10.5 to 1 compression. It's got a solid roller cam, comp cam with a Iski's solid roll lifters, bush lifters, easy rolls. It's been gone through, line board, blueprinted. Runs pretty nice. Should make about 520 horsepower, hopefully, maybe 550. We'll see how it turns out. Put some fiber spacers on it on the carb to get PVC to work. You know, before it was a road draft tube, and they wanted to put a PVC valve in it just to clean it up, which is fine. Still have the original road draft tube. That's the original shifter I bought in high school. I think I paid $105 for it or something crazy back when minimum wage was $2.89 an hour. Now the her shifters are like $600-700. So this one all works good. Everything, no bushings are all good. My little shifter knob's a little yellow. I'll probably change that out. Some of the other stuff's hard to find is these bushings here. Mike's classic car in Blair, Nebraska, over Elkhorn, I think now. He makes that. The little adjustment for your clutch. There's just a little stuff that's hard to find on these cars. The C bar here, I had to shorten it up to make it work with this bell housing with the mount. Usually there's a factory knob on there. Those are hard to find. I kept my original one. I found this one on eBay, but this is only 65, 66 only, maybe 67. And not a lot of 4-speed cars back in the day. 65, and it's probably the biggest yard for 4 speeds. These are tough to find too. Got an extra one of those. Put some new bushings in it. So whenever you see that stuff, if you're doing one of these cars, hang on to it because they're hard to find. Everything else I'm going to keep probably go to a 66 style dual bowl master cylinder just for a little extra safety instead of the single bowl. That's when they switched. The reason I got my reminder tape is it's been 2 years since the motor's been done, and when we got done test running it, we loosened up the rocker arms to take the pressure off the springs and the lifters and rocker arms, so there's no use keeping that tight spring pressure on them when you're not going to use it for an extended period of time. So I'll just have to pop these off, torque down my rocker arm stands down equally, and we'll be ready to go. Check the lash again, being a solid roller cam. Everything looks good, pretty period correct. I'd like to change a few things to make it a little more modern, but I'd like to keep it as stock as I could. Got the factory dog dish hubcaps that came with the car. Those are the original wheels. I haven't really painted them. Got some tires that was on the car years ago, and when I had it, I had Krager mags on it, but I think I'll stick with the original style wheels for now. I might go to a 16-inch wheel with the steel look, and I might change the offset a little bit on the back so I can get a little bit bigger tire in it, but we'll see how it turns out. I want to get it all fitting on. The body's ready to go. It's all painted underneath. Body, or the main body's all primed out, ready for final block sand. Firewall's painted, inside's done with lizard skin like we talked about before. So let's get this down on the body maybe today, probably tomorrow afternoon after work. I got to go through and make sure everything's tight, just easier to get to right now, and then grease a few things, and we'll be ready to go. Thank you.